Hello dear students, my name is C. Radhakrishna. I am senior lecturer in chemistry. I am working at Government Polytechnic College, Gadwal. Today we shall try to learn units to measure the degree of hardness, relationship among various units. There are four type units of hardness. The relationship among them also will try to learn. The problems on the degree of hardness also we will work out. Let's try to recall whatever we have learned in the previous classes. See, we are in this water technology. We started with the types of water: underground water, surface water, and what is soft water and what is hard water. The soft water is the water that doesn't give lather with soap, whereas the hard water is the water. Hard water doesn't give lather with the soap. I am sorry. Soft water gives ready and permanent lather with the soap. Hard water doesn't give lather with soap. The salts present in the hot water will react with the soap and precipitate the soap. So the soap comes out of the water, so it doesn't give lather. Especially the calcium and magnesium salts will interfere with the soap, which is sodium stearate, and precipitate out the soap in the form of calcium stearate and magnesium stearate. Okay. This hardness of water is of two types: temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Temporary hardness is the hardness that can be removed simply by simple physical methods like boiling the water. It is caused by bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. On boiling the water, these bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium will decompose and come out of the water as precipitates. If they are dissolved in the water, they will cause hardness. Since they are being eliminated from the water in the form of precipitate, they are no more present in the water to cause hardness. That is how by boiling the water, temporary hardness is removed. The permanent hardness is caused by chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. This hardness has to be removed by chemical methods like ion exchange method as well as permitted method. These methods we will try to learn in the next class. And we have also defined how to measure the hardness. Okay, we have defined degree of hardness. Degree of hardness is may be defined as the strength of or concentration of hardness causing salts in a given unit volume of hard water. Okay, it is expressed in terms of calcium carbonate. For the sake of uniformity, because different salts are causing hardness to the water, to bring about some uniformity and express all salts in a same platform. Okay, they are expressed in terms of CaSO3 equivalents. It's something like it's same like whatever item you purchase, we pay in India in terms of rupees. Whatever the item maybe we are purchasing in a shop. In the same manner, whatever the salt, there are 6 salts causing hardness to the water: calcium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate. They are most commonly present, so we take these only into account. Okay, so whatever the salt that may be causing hardness to the water, its weight, the amount of the salt present in the hard water will be converted into CaSO3 equivalents. Okay, so that they will be on par. The formula to convert the hardness, the weight of a given salt present in the water is the CaSO3 equivalents is equal to weight of the salt by gram molecular weight of the salt into 100. Here we took CaSO3 as a unit or standard because its molecular weight is around figure 100. 100 is the gram molecular weight of calcium carbonate. Okay, that is the degree of hardness. We have seen the degree of hardness in the last class. Now let us try to learn the units of these. This is the degree of hardness. Okay, this degree of hardness is different for water from different sources. If you collect water from the well of your village the hardness may be something X. If you collect from the bore water near your house at in the city, the hardness may be different. The sea water hardness may be different. Okay, there must be a way, a scale, a measure to explain, to express these hardnesses. Okay, so different we have got. We will try to see the units in which this hardness can be expressed. How can this difference between different sources? Hardness between different sources of water can be expressed. How can it be explained or expressed? Okay. The weight or mass is expressed in grams or kilograms. Likewise, there must be a unit to express this hardness also. Okay. So, we'll try to learn those units in this class. Okay. Volume is expressed, volume is expressed in milliliters or liters. Similarly, can we tell the units of degree of hardness? In which degree of hardness is expressed? Do you have any idea how to express or what are the units in which degree of hardness is expressed? Okay, let me explain. The degree of hardness is expressed in various units like ppm, mg per liter, etc. We'll see one by one. Okay, we'll try to learn about each and every one. Okay, units of hardness. It is known, we know that degree of hardness is expressed in terms of CaCO3 equivalents. We have discussed already, in the last class we have learned this. The degree of hardness is expressed in the following units: parts per million, in short ppm, milligrams per liter, in short mg per liter, Clark's hardness, degrees Cl, French hardness, degrees French. Okay. So there are four units to express degree of hardness. These are the units of hardness. They are parts per million, milligrams per liter, Clark's hardness, and French hardness. Let's try to see each and every one in detail. Okay, let's try to learn these things. Okay, let us first go for the parts per million. Parts per million may be defined as the number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 1 million parts. Present in 1 million parts by weight of water. Do you think it is a bit confusing? Okay, let me explain. See, take 1 million parts of water. These parts may be milliliters. Most commonly, these can be taken as milliliters. Okay, 1 million milliliters. That is 10 to the power. It's not 106. I'm sorry. It's 10 to the power of 6. 10 raised to the power of 6. 10 raised to the power of 5 is 1 lakh. 10 to the power raised to the power of 6 is 10 lakhs or 1 million. Okay, we are more familiar with lakhs. Okay, so the number of parts by weight. Weight is measured in grams, right? Grams or kilograms. So you can also say that the number of parts by weight means the number of grams. You can say number of grams of CaCO3 equivalent of a salt. See, salt may be any salt causing hardness, but we express in terms of CaCO3 equivalents, right? Calcium carbonate equivalents. So here it is number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents of any salt present in 1 million parts of water. Or other words, you can say that 1 ppm is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent. Okay, 1 ppm is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent in 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. Okay, 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. ppm is the most widely used expression nowadays. Okay, hardness is expressed in terms of ppm. ppm is the number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 1 million or 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. So 1 ppm is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent in 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. It's not 106, I am sorry, it's wrongly written. It is 10 to the power of 6 parts. Okay. Next we will go for the next unit, milligrams per liter. It is the number of milligrams of CaCO3 equivalent. Here we are specifying, okay, the weight. Instead of generally calling number of parts by weight, you are specifying the unit here in the case of mg per liter. Okay, so it is a number of milligrams of CaCO3 equivalent present in 1 liter of 1 liter of water. Okay, number of milligrams of CaCO3 equivalent present in 1 liter of water, that is mg per liter. Quite obvious, right? 1 mg per liter is equal to 1 milligram of CaCO3 equivalent. Okay, it is 1 milligram of CaCO3 equivalent present in 1 liter of water. Okay, just as we have seen, 1 ppm is equal to, just as we have seen that 1 ppm is equal to what have we seen? 1 ppm is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent in 1 million parts of water. Likewise, 1 mg per liter is equal to 1 mg per liter is equal to 1 milligram of CaCO3 equivalent. Obviously, 1 milligram of CaCO3 equivalent present in 1 liter of water. Okay. Now let us define the degree Clark's hardness. Clark's degree of hardness 0 Cl. Clark's degree of hardness, that is 0 degrees Cl. It's not 0. It is the 0 should be superscripted. Okay, should have been rather. Okay, degree Cl. It is the number of parts of CaCO3 equivalents. Number of parts by weight. By weight, here also it's by weight. Number of parts of CaCO3, number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 70,000 parts of water. Only here the quantity of water is differing between the different units. Okay, so 1 degree Clark, number of parts by weight. Here also by weight, that's missing. Is number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 70,000 parts of water. 1 degree Cl is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent present in 70,000 parts of water. Present in 70,000 liters of 70,000 parts of water, not liters, 70,000 parts of water. Okay. Next we go for degree French hardness. French degree of hardness, it is expressed as degree Fr. It is the parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents, parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 10 to the power of 5 parts, that is 1 lakh. Just now we have seen that 10 to the power of 5 is 1 lakh. Okay, so number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 10 to the power of 5 parts of water. 10 to the power of 5 parts of water is called as French degree of hardness. Okay, French degree of hardness. So 1 degree French is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent present in 10 to the power of 5 parts of water. Okay, 10 to the power of 5 parts of water. So far we have seen 4 units of degree of expressing 4 units in which degree of hardness can be expressed. Okay, the first is ppm, parts per million. It is defined as number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. Likewise, next is milligrams per liter. Okay, it is number of milligrams of CaCO3 equivalents present in 1 liter of water. Third is Clark's degree of hardness, degree Cl. It is expressed as degree Cl. This is number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 70,000 parts of water. 70,000 parts of water. Likewise, the last but not least is French degree of hardness. It is expressed as degree Fr. Okay, degree Fr. It is number of parts by weight of CaCO3 equivalents present in 10 to the power of 5 parts, that is 1 lakh parts of water. 1 degree French is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent present in 10 to the power of 5 parts of water. Okay. Yeah. Numerically speaking, 1 ppm is equal, the same as 1 mg per liter. Both are equivalent. ppm as well as mg per liter are equivalent. Okay, 10 ppm is equal to 10 mg per liter. 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter. How it happens, let us see. Okay, 1 liter of water is equal to 1 kg. 1 ml, see, in the case of water, 1 liter weight is, we take it as 1 kilogram. Okay, or 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. Obviously, 1 liter of water is equivalent to 1000 grams. Okay. So, if you convert it into milligrams, each gram consists of made up of 1000 milligrams. Milli is 10 to the power minus 3 or 1000th part, right? So, 1 gram is equal to 1000 milligrams. So, 1 liter of water is equal to 1 kg is equal to 1000 into 1000 milligrams. That is 10 to the power of 6 milligrams. Okay, 10 to the power of 6 milligrams. So, 1 mg per liter is equal to 1 mg per liter is same as 1 milligram of CaCO3 equivalent per 10 to the power of 6 ml of water. That's not mg. 10 to the power of 6 ml of water. So 1 mg per liter is same is equal to 1 mg of CaCO3 equivalent present in 10 to the power of 6 part of or 10 to the power of 6 ml or 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. Similarly, 1 ppm is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent. Okay, 1 ppm is equal to 1 part of CaCO3 equivalent per 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. So that is 1 mg of CaCO3 per 10 to the power of 6 ml of water. It is also ppm is 1 part of CaCO3 per 10 to the power of 6 parts of water. So hence it is established that 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter, 100 ppm is equal to 100 mg per liter, 1000 ppm is equal to 1000 mg per liter. ppm and mg per liter are totally equivalent. Okay. Now let us try to learn the equivalence between different units. 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter is equal to, okay, 0.1 degrees French is equal to 0.07 degrees Clark hardness. 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter is equal to 0.1 degree French hardness. The same is 0.07 degree Clark's hardness. Okay. So 1 mg per liter we can express in the same way. Either it's the same. Okay. Whenever it is equivalent, this side and that side will be the same. 1 mg per liter is equal to 1 ppm. That is equal to 0.1 degree French hardness. That is equal to 0.07 degree Clark hardness. 1 degree Clark hardness is equal to 1.43 degree French hardness, 14.3 ppm, 14.3 mg per liter. Yeah, 1 degree Clark's hardness is equal to 1.43 degrees French hardness, 14.3 ppm, 14.3 milligrams per liter. Likewise, 1 degree French hardness is equal to 10 ppm, 10 mg per liter, 0.7 degree French hardness. Okay. And to convert the weight of a given salt present in 1 liter of water or so, okay, to convert the weight of a given salt present in a given volume or unit volume of water, that is 1 liter of water, okay, the formula is the number of CaCO3 equivalents is equal to the weight of the salt present in the hard water divided by gram molecular weight of the salt into 100. This 100, as I mentioned earlier, is the equivalent weight of CaCO3. not equivalent weight, gram molecular weight of CaCO3. Okay, gram molecular weight, not equivalent weight, it's gram molecular weight. Okay, let's try to work out a small problem. Calculate the hardness of sample water. Okay, calculate the sample hardness of sample water containing 13.6 milligrams of CaSO4 per liter. 13.6 grams of CaSO4 per liter. Weight of calcium sulfate is equal to 13.6 milligrams. Gram molecular weight of salt is 136 grams. Hardness in terms of CaCO3 equivalence is equal to weight of the salt by gram molecular weight of the salt into 100. Okay, here weight of the salt is given is 13.6. Gram molecular weight is 136. So 13.6 by 136 into 100. Upon cancellation, 13.6 cancels 136 10 times. 100 by 10 is 10 ppm. So the hardness of sample water containing 13.6 milligrams of CaSO4 per liter is 10 parts per million. 10 parts per million. So what have we learned? We have learned different units used to measure the hardness of the water. Different units. What are they? Parts per million or ppm, milligrams per liter or mg per liter in short. Okay, Clark's degree of hardness, degree Cl, French degree of hardness, degree Fr. Okay, we have also seen the relationship between various units of degree of hardness. So how are they equivalent? We have seen 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter is equal to 0.1 degree French hardness or 0.07 degree Clark. Okay, this is what we have seen. We have also seen the calculation of converting the weight of a given salt into equivalents of CaCO3, and that equivalence of CaCO3 is itself is the hardness. Okay, that itself is the hardness. This is what we have learned so far in this class. Okay, let's try to solve a few questions so that to enhance our understanding of the topic. 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter, 1 Clark's degree, 1 French degree, all the above. It's only 1 mg per liter. Okay, how many Clark's degrees? 1 ppm is equal to 0.07 Clark's degree Cl. How many French degrees of hardness 1 ppm is? 1 ppm is 0.1 degree French hardness. Okay, now we move on to next question. Hardness of water is measured in mg per liter, Clark's degree of hardness, French degree of hardness. We have learned that hardness is expressed in all these units, right? Okay, so the answer is obviously all the above. It's measured in mg per liter, Clark's degree of hardness, and French degree, as well as ppm also. That's missing here. Okay, modern method to express degree of hardness is a ppm. Obviously, it is a parts per million. Modern method is a parts per million or a ppm. So far in this class, we have learned the units in which degree of hardness can be expressed. There are 4 units: ppm, mg per liter, French degree of hardness, and Clark's degree of hardness. These 4 units we have seen. And we have also learned the equivalence between different units. Okay, that is 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter. How it happens we have seen. And likewise, it is the same as 0.1 degree French hardness, and it is the same as equivalent to 0.07 degrees Clark hardness. Okay, then we have seen we worked out a problem to convert the given weight of a salt in 1 liter of hard water into CaCO3 equivalents. that is okay, that is the hardness, degree of hardness. Okay. Next we'll try to learn, since we have time, let's try to learn. Okay. The principle involved in the determination of hardness of water by EDTA method. See, EDTA method is essential to learn because in the lab you will be doing experiment. Okay, you'll be doing experiment and you'll have to learn this compulsorily. Okay, this compulsorily you'll have to learn. Okay, so EDTA method of determination of hardness we'll try to learn. Okay, in the lab you will be doing the experiment. The theoretical part, theoretical underpinning, theoretical part, let's learn here in this class. Okay. Yeah, to recapitulate, we have learned about soft water and hard water. Soft water is the water that gives freely lather, ready and permanent lather with soap. Hard water is that sample of water that doesn't give lather with soap. We also seen the cause of hardness. The cause of hardness is because of dissolved salts of calcium and magnesium. The salts present are calcium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate, okay, calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride. The bicarbonates cause temporary. Okay, types of hardness. There are two types of hardness: the temporary hardness and permanent hardness. The temporary hardness is the one which can be removed simply by boiling the water. Upon boiling the water, the bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium decompose and come out as precipitates. So once the water is boiled, these salts come out as in the form of precipitates and they are no more present in the water. So since these salts are not present, they will not interfere with soap, and soaps, the water becomes soft and gives lather readily with soap. Lather readily with soap. Likewise, the salts like chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium, they cannot be removed simply by boiling. They have to be removed by special chemical methods like permanent method and ion exchange method. So that is what we call as the permanent hardness. We call it as a permanent hardness. Then we have learned the disadvantage of using hard water, especially in the industries. Okay, in the industries, in the laundry industry, there is a lot of wastage of soap in the laundry industry, and it may form some spots and streaks on the cloths. The salts present in the hard water may deposit on the cloths, forming the precipitates may deposit on the cloths, forming streaks and spots. Okay. Next, if you use hard water in the paper industry, the quality of paper will be affected. Okay, quality of paper will be affected. The paper will not be that smooth, and color of paper will not be white. It will be discoloration will take place, and roughness will also be occur. If you use in the hard water in the textile industry, application of dyes, dyes means coloring matter. Okay, coloring matter will not be proper. Here and there, the salts may deposit. If you wash fabric with hard water, the salts may deposit, and the point of deposition where salts are deposited on the textile, the dye will not adhere properly or stick properly. Okay, so the shades will not be uniform, and the quality will be affected. And when you use hard water in the sugar industry, what happens? If you use hard water in the sugar industry, okay, the nitrates, sulfates, chlorides, etc., which are present, these anions will interfere with the crystallization of the sugar, and sugar becomes deliquescent. Deliquescent means hygroscopic. If it absorbs water from the surrounding environment or atmosphere and turns moist, so marketing sugar will be problem. Okay, then if you use hard water in the concrete mating, strength of the concrete will be affected because it interferes with the setting of the cement. hydration of the cement or setting of the cement. Then if you use hard water in the industrial boilers, the salts will deposit on the inner surface of the boilers in the form of scales. These scales are non-conductors or bad conductors, so lot of fuel will be wasted. Sometimes cracks may develop in these scales, okay, and steam at high pressure may suddenly attack the boiler wall, leading to explosion. And because of the hydrolyzed products of these scales, the walls of the boiler may also corrode. Okay, corrosion may take place, weakening the boiler walls. Then we have seen the degree of hardness. Degree of hardness is strength of hardness causing salts present in the water. Okay, it is expressed in terms of CaCO3 equivalents. And we have also seen just now the units of hardness and the relationship between different units. Okay, now we'll move on to EDTA method. Okay, hardness of water is due to calcium and magnesium salts. Hardness is due to calcium and magnesium salts. Hardness of water should be removed before it is to be used. Okay, to remove the hardness of water, it is essential to know how much of hardness is present. We have to have a method to measure this hardness of water. Okay, so do you have any idea about the method of how to estimate the degree of water? What method to use? To estimate the degree of hardness? Okay, let us try to see. Generally, estimation is carried out by volumetric analysis. Okay, it's done by volumetric analysis. You'll come to know once you start working in the lab, doing experiments in the lab. You have got only mostly volumetric experiments only. Most of them are volumetric experiments only. Okay, the hardness of water can be estimated, okay, by volumetric analysis itself by two methods, soap solution method and EDTA method. Now let us try to learn the experimental principle involved in the determination of degree of hardness by EDTA method. How to use EDTA, determine the hardness of water using EDTA method. Let us try to learn here. Okay, determination of degree of hardness by EDTA method. Let us see. Chemicals required are standard EDTA solution. EDTA stands for, it's a disodium salt of ethylene diamine tetraestic acid. Ethylene diamine tetraestic acid. Okay, 2 hydrogen atoms are replaced in this salt by 2 sodium atoms. So it's a disodium salt of ethylene diamine tetraestic acid. Let's see the formula as well, don't worry. Erythrom black tea indicator. It is a special indicator used here. Ammonia buffer. We have learned in the solutions buffer. What is a buffer, by the way? Can you be able to recall and tell me? A buffer solution is a solution which maintains a constant pH. The pH of a buffer solution will not change. It remains constant on addition of small quantities of either strong acid or strong base. Okay, that's called buffer solution. The main intention of using a buffer is, adding a buffer is to maintain pH at one point or in a certain range. Okay, next is we use distilled water. Okay, these are the things we use here. The apparatus required for the lab doing it is burette. Usually we use 50 ml burette. Pipette, 20 ml pipette we use. Conical flask, we use 250 ml conical flask. Then burette stand, beakers of different sizes we use. Glazed tile. See, this tile is placed below the conical flask where reaction is taking place. Okay, to know the change in the color against this glazed tile is white in color, bright white in color. Against white backdrop, it is easy to determine the color change. Notice the color change. That's why we use it. And a wash bottle to pour water, we use a wash bottle as well. The principle involved. EDTA is a strong chelating agent. Chelating means a cyclic compound or a ring compound forming ring compound formation is called as chelation. It's also called as chelation. Okay. The ends are joined. The ends are not free here. The ends will be joined together. It's like a ring or cycle. That's what. So since it forms a cycle or ring-like structure, we call it as a chelating agent. Okay. It easily forms coordination complexes with metal ions. EDTA has lot of affinity for metal ions, so it forms coordination complexes with the various metal ions, not only our calcium and magnesium, but various metal ions as well. This is the basis for the estimation of degree of hardness of water. The basis is the chelating ability of EDTA and its ability to form coordination complexes with the metal ions. Okay, so this titration is called as a complexometric titration. Try to remember this. Okay, it's called as a complexometric titration. Generally, disodium salt of EDTA is used. Disodium salt of EDTA used in this titration. The structure is okay. Actually, CH2 to CH2, a nitrogen atom is joined here by a single bond. Okay, to this nitrogen bond, CH2COONA one side, another side, another CH2COONA. Here again, this CH2CH2 is called as ethylene. To this, a nitrogen atom is attached. To this nitrogen atom, one CH2COONA is attached, and the other side, another CH2COOH is attached. So two sodiums are only two hydrogens of carboxylic acids are replaced by sodium ion. So it is a disodium salt. Okay, this is a disodium salt of structure of disodium salts of EDTA. You need not remember or mug up this structure. Okay, just for information. Okay, we have shown it here. Okay, don't bother much about the structure. Okay. The degree of hardness is estimated by titrating the hard water. Degree of hardness is estimated by titrating the hard water with standard EDTA solution. In this titration, standard EDTA solution. Standard solution. What is standard solution? We have learned in the previous classes in solution. What is a standard solution? A standard solution is a solution whose concentration is known to us. Okay, whose concentration is known to us. That is called as a standard solution. Okay, here standard EDTA solution means the concentration of that EDTA solution is known to us. Okay, so with the help of this a solution whose concentration is known to us, we try to estimate the hardness of unknown solution, unknown hard water. Okay. In this titration, erythrom black tea, EBT in short, erythrom black tea is used as indicator. It is used as indicator, and ammonia buffer is used to keep pH at 10. Say here, erythrom black tea, an indicator, it reacts with the calcium and magnesium ions at a particular pH, that is at pH 10. To maintain the pH at 10, we use ammonia buffer. We use ammonia buffer to keep the pH value at 10. Okay, to keep the pH value at 10, we use ammonia buffer. The ammonia buffer is a mixture of equivalent of mixture of ammonium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride. Okay, ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride. It's a mixture of NH4OH and NH4Cl. That's a basic buffer. Its pH is at 10. So when this is added, the pH of the sample water is maintained at 10. So the reaction will take place with easily. Ammonia buffer is prepared by mixing ammonium chloride with the ammonium hydroxide, obviously. Okay. The end point in this titration is change in the color of the solution from wine red to sky blue. See, what we do is we transfer a 20 ml of hard water, sample water into conical flask. Do you understand? We take a conical flask with the help of pipette. All these things we'll see. Pipette is used to transfer fixed volumes. Here we take 20 ml pipette and transfer 20 ml of hard water into a conical flask. Okay, 20 ml. To that we add 2 ml of buffer solution, ammonia buffer. So the pH will be maintained at 10. To this we add 2-3 drops of Erichrome black tea indicator. The solution turns immediately to wine red in color. Okay, wine red color. The initial wine red color is due to this wine red color is formed because the calcium and magnesium ions present in our sample hard water will form complexes with Erichrome black tea. Okay, complex with Erichrome black tea. To this, so the wine red color is because of the calcium EBT and magnesium EBT complex formation. Okay. To this we keep on adding slowly in a dropwise manner. Okay, with shaking, constant shaking of the conical flask, we keep on adding dropwise manner standard EDTA solution. So after the reaction is completed, okay, so what does this Erichrome black tea do is EDTA combines with the calcium and magnesium ions. Calcium and magnesium ions attached to EBT, and it takes up the calcium and magnesium ions and form EDTA complex. Okay, is EDTA complex, and EBT is liberated. Erichrome black tea, free Erichrome black tea is liberated into the water. Free Erichrome black tea is wine red color. So after all the calcium and magnesium ions are combined with EDTA and formed EDTA complex. Okay, then after all the ions are over, completed, okay, the solution turns from wine red to sky blue color, which is the original color of Erichrome black tea. Okay, so this is the end point of the titration. So calcium and magnesium ions present in the hard water combined with EBT, Erichrome black tea, to form calcium EBT and magnesium EBT. This complex is unstable complex. Okay, calcium EBT and magnesium EBT are unstable, and they are wine red in color. When you add EDTA, whenever EDTA is added from the burette, okay, calcium EDTA and magnesium EDTA complexes are formed. These calcium EDTA and magnesium EDTA are stable complexes. Okay, so EBT becomes free. Now EBT becomes free, which is sky blue in color. So at the end point, what's happening is the color is changing from wine red to sky blue. Okay, the color is changing from wine red to sky blue. Understand? The color is changing from wine red to sky blue. So at the end point, so calcium EBT plus magnesium EBT plus EDTA solution gives you calcium EDTA, and plus EBT, magnesium EDTA plus MBT. So this calcium and magnesium EDTA complexes, they are colorless, but our Erichrome black tea is sky blue in color. Erichrome black tea is sky blue in color. Okay. So far what I have learned? We have learned in this class the units of hard water. Okay, ppm, mg per liter, Clark degree of hardness, French degree of hardness. We have seen the interrelation between these units. Okay, 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter, that is equal to 0.1 degrees French hardness, and 0.07 degrees Clark hardness. We have also seen try to work out a problem. Okay, we have worked out a problem on hardness, converting the weight of a given salt dissolved in water causing hardness to convert into CaCO3 equivalents, which gives the hardness of water. We have seen one problem. Then we went for EDTA method of EDTA method of determining the hardness of sample water. Okay, in this EDTA method, what we do is it is a complexometric titration. EDTA is a chelating agent. This ring complex it forms. Okay, it's a chelating agent. It forms coordination complexes with metal ions, and the same thing happens with our calcium and magnesium ions also. Okay, here this type of titration is called as since complexes are being formed, complexometric titration. It's called as complexometric titration because complexes are formed. Okay, complexometric titration it's called as. And here the principle involved is this titration happens at a particular pH, about pH 10. So here to maintain pH at 10, ammonia buffer, a mixture of ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride, a mixture is used. That solution is added to the sample water at this pH. Here the indicator is zircon black tea. The principle involved is calcium and magnesium ions combine with erythrom black tea at pH 10 to form a wine red colored unstable complex. When EDTA is added, this unstable complex EDTA is added, calcium and magnesium ions dissociate. This unstable complex will dissociate. Calcium and magnesium ions will combine with EDTA to form calcium EDTA and magnesium EDTA. And then after all the ions are converted into calcium and magnesium EDTA, erythrom black tea is freed, totally free. The free erythrom black tea is sky blue in color. So at the end point, the wine red color changes into sky blue color. That's the end point. Amount of EDTA used is proportional to the hardness of sample water. That is the amount of calcium and magnesium ions present in the hard water. Okay, that's this you will be doing in the lab. Okay, the theory part we have discussed now so far. This is the end of this lecture. Thank you.